Hello and welcome to your channel Clear Waters. How are you tonight? In this beautiful Friday night or morning on your side of the world. Tonight, I want to do something that some people are not going to be very happy about. But I gotta do what I gotta do. Some people might get uncomfortable. Some people don't. But I think that we can make this world a better place by being honest, transparent, and speaking freely without hurting anyone. So tonight, I'm gonna correct a little something about what Jesus Christ said. I think it's important. I'm gonna check real quick my audio. It's good. And my Discord for anybody that wants to call in and correct me or have a conversation about anything that I say in this live stream. There's a link at the bottom of the screen that you can call me and we can have a conversation. I always enjoy having people call in and ask me questions, push back, complain. It doesn't matter as long as you do your best to be respectful. Nicholas Holier, welcome to the live stream. Jesus Christ doesn't need correcting. I don't know if you're going to think the same way after I'm done with this live stream or after I'm done with the presentation. So let's jump right to it. I'm saying that I'm not doing any more of starting the live stream and then waiting 15-20 minutes to start my presentations. I'm not longer doing that. I'm just starting the live stream and jumping directly into the presentation. In case you join late, you can move back on the video, see the presentation, see what we're talking about, and then you can tell me or ask me whatever you want. Some people connect 2 hours later. They have no idea what we're talking about and they're complaining about anything. So let's jump right to it. Tonight, I'm going to correct Jesus Christ or fix something that I think he omitted, which I think is extremely important. So let me jump to my first slide or scene. Let's lower the music so I can concentrate. Okay, here we go. For anybody that is on the vertical stream, there's 2 streams, one vertical, one horizontal. You can jump to any of those 2 streams. Most of my presentations look better on the horizontal stream. Just in case you see something weird looking on the screen, you can jump to the horizontal. Probably looks better on your phone, TV, or device. So let's start with what Jesus said, which I think there's something that has to be fixed in this thing here. Wendy Kirkland, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for the jewels. Thank you so much, Wendy. Appreciate it. So Jesus said, no one comes to the Father except through me. Uh-oh. Wait a second. Wait a second, Jesus. There's a period after me. I think you are omitting information here, and I'm going to respectfully correct you or fix this statement because it's omitting something that is extremely important. Let's jump to the next slide. So no one comes to the Father except through me. The question is that the complete picture? Of course it's not. Something is missing here. No wonder this thing about believing in God is so extremely complicated and most people don't believe. Leaving information, important information out. So is that the complete picture? No, it's not. I'm going to explain it to you. Before anyone can follow Jesus, before anyone can believe in Jesus, before anyone can obey Jesus, something has to happen first. If we're talking about human beings, something very important must happen first. You must first feel something. Duh, Javier, all humans have feelings. Oh, duh. What is the order of things? Feelings come first. Javier, but feelings are deceiving. No, not exactly. And yes, you're absolutely accurate if you're thinking that way. So in order to get to the Father, you have to do it through Jesus. But first, you have to go through your feelings first. That is the important order. I know that you don't want to talk about that part because you run the risk of understanding things beyond that line. And that's uncomfortable. But you as a human being, before knowing the Father, before doing it through Jesus, feel has to be there first. Without feel, no Jesus, no Father. I know that's an uncomfortable truth. I know. But if you want to call anything the truth, that is the truth about life and humanity. Repeat after me, okay? I'm going to teach you how to be honest. Not that I'm honest, but I try to do my best. Before you make it to the Father, before you make it to Jesus, you have to first make it to your feelings first. Feel, Jesus, and then the Father. That poses a big problem. So, if a person feels unconvinced, the person will not believe. Can you come to your senses, be honest with yourself for at least one time in your life and accept that fact? If the person feels trust, they might believe. If the person feels fear, they might repent. If the person feels love, they might follow. But the human being, the believer, must feel something. Feel Jesus, the Father. You're not going to change that order. I don't care how much you complain, how much you tell Javier you don't know what you're talking about. Javier, you're lying, you're deceived. Say whatever you want. That is the order of things as long as you and me are human beings. That's how this works. I know you don't like it. You're only going to be able to lie to yourself as far as at one point, my friend. So the question is for you, for me, for anybody. So what actually moves a person? Jesus of a person's feelings? The question is for you. So let's correct what Jesus said, because I don't think it's accurate for Jesus to omit such an important piece of information. The way that verse should read goes as follows. No one comes to the Father except through me, but no one comes to me unless their feelings move them to. No feelings, no Jesus, no Father, no heaven, no nothing. I know. You don't want to talk about feelings. You don't want to talk about that energy that you have in you that works at all times, that makes the bridge between your thoughts and your actions. You don't want to talk about that because that, in your belief in a God, imposes a problem. Yes, that whatever you're feeling is most important than any God. Without feelings, you have no God. It's an uncomfortable truth. If you want to call something truth, that is your truth. You can complain all you want. You can push back all you want. You can tell me, Javier, no, that's an illogical fallacy. At least implausible. Whatever you want to say that sounds sophisticated to push it back on this. That is reality of human beings. One more time, in case you didn't hear it, probably you're not watching the screen and you're just listening. Probably you're driving your car, your truck right now. Thank you for being on this live stream, listening. Please, if you're driving right now, do it safely. Correcting Jesus. No one comes to the Father except through me, but no one comes to me unless their feelings move them to. Period. Now the period is in the correct place. I know. My face is out of, sorry. So go complain to your pastor. Go complain to your favorite YouTube influencer. YouTube God influencer. I'm sorry. Go complain to your favorite debater and tell it there's some guy over there in YouTube, some crazy in the head, stinky waters guy with the name Javier that is talking crazy things about God. He's throwing mud and offending me, my religion. Nope. Now we're also correcting people that if you're offended, probably it's because someone is being honest and transparent. And I know that being honest and transparent make people uncomfortable if your beliefs are problematic. Yes. Yes. So, that is my presentation about correcting Jesus Christ. This is the way we should be talking as long as we are human beings, and we're talking about human beings doing the believing in the God, keeping the God alive through believers. Believers stop believing, the God is gone. So that is my presentation about correcting Jesus Christ. There's a link at the bottom of the screen and also on the chats that you can call me to have a conversation. Javier, how did you come up with this crazy idea that you're going to correct the Son of the Lord? Are you crazy? Are you afraid that you're going to be toast for eternity for insulting the most intelligent being in the universe? Nope. I'm not afraid to be honest or try to do my best to be honest and sincere and to speak clearly as much as I can with my big, humongous accent. Again, if you feel uncomfortable, probably it's because of your problematic view on life, your problematic beliefs. Probably that's why you're getting offended right now. Not because of what I'm saying. So let's look at the chats right now and open the phone lines for anybody that wants to call in. And probably tell me, Javier, I'm going to present to you proof that God is real. I'm going to show you that God is real, that Jesus is real, that Jesus is alive. I'm going to show you, I'm going to talk to Jesus right now, and I'm going to give you direct answers from Jesus, like some people have. very crazily try to attempt to do while we are live streaming. Crazy. Oh, let's look at those chats and open the phone lines for anybody that wants to call in. If you get on the Discord to talk to me for the first time, please just hang in there for a moment so I can unmute you. All right, Mr. Brent A, welcome to the live stream. Mr. Chuck McNorris loves Jesus. Brent A, I just came from Hector Talks and tried to get people over here. Thank you so much, Brent A. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Chuck McNorris, I love Chulum. The creator of the universe. The only one. Oh, man. Mr. David Martinez, welcome to the live stream. We are correcting Jesus Christ. Hopefully you got to see the presentation at the beginning. If you haven't seen the presentation, move the scroll back so you can watch the 5-7 minutes presentation, and then you come to the live section of the live stream and you can ask me any questions. Probably you can correct me, tell me if I'm wrong about something. Brent Tate is asking, is it Chulum or Chulum? For those of you that don't know, I'm gonna put it on the screen. This is how it's written. Chulum, the creator of the universe. I know that some people think that is the God of the Bible. They are incorrect. The creator of the universe is Chulum. Of the universe is Chulum. The great skeptic philosophy. Welcome to the live stream. Brand A, give thanks to Chulum. Chulum doesn't care, but we can give thanks to Chulum if you want. Brent 8 writes, Clearwater's emojis so well, very engaging. Emojis. What are emojis? Very engaging. Thank you so much, Brent A, for being on the live stream. Thank you for your feedback and sharing your views. Appreciate it. Mr. Nicholas Holier, that might be one of the worst presentations I've ever seen in your entire life. The presentation probably is horrible. I have to agree with you. But the message is absolutely accurate. I agree with you. The presentation is horrible. I did it like in 20 minutes. I barely have time to do these things. But the message is clear. Jesus should be talking correctly, and we are correcting Jesus. Mark Norris is asking why. Brente is telling Nicholas Holier, I come for the ideas, not the presentation quality, but he's getting better, believe it or not. Thank you so much. Brende, I have good days and bad days, my friend. I make presentations sometimes in 3 hours, sometimes in 3 minutes. It all depends on how I'm available in regards to time. Brende, give thanks to Chulum. Nicholas Holier, is he saying you have to feel before you have faith? Duh. I don't know why this cracks me up. Like, you're not a human. You have never felt something in your life. The only way to Jesus, to God, is through your feelings. What part of that you don't understand, Nick? Come on, man. Chuck McNorris, Jesus did not love me back. Mr. 504 Fireman, welcome to the live stream. What TF is Chulum? Chulum is the creator of the universe. I know that probably you learned somewhere to say and repeat over and over again that some character in a book is the creator of the universe, even when you have absolutely no evidence whatsoever. So, the real creator of the universe is Chulum. I can prove it to you. The universe cannot come from itself. It cannot come from nothing. So, there has to be a creator. And that is Chulum, you see? Oh, man. How about these messages, man? Chuck McNorris writes, Clearwater's interpretation Chulum. You can steal the word God to now refer to Chulum. Interesting. The god Chulum. Wendy Kirkland writes, I'm saddened. Why, Wendy? What's going on? David Martinez, the message is true. It's all about feelings. I somehow agree with you, David. There's more to it, but definitely the feel energy is of huge importance for a human being. Brent A at Chuck McNorris. Yup, Chulum confirmed as the channel's deity. Nicholas Holier, that's interesting because the Bible says the opposite about faith. Nicholas Holier, every time you said the Bible says, please, you can speak more transparently and openly and clearly. You can say someone else is telling me through a book how you should think and how you should speak. It's gonna get old, my friend. You have to go back to reality, that whatever you're reading in the book is what someone else is telling you. That you believe that this information from that book comes from a God. You gotta do some digging to see what persuaded you to believe that some information that someone else is telling you through a book is coming inspired by a God. It's troublesome. So instead of jumping to a conclusion based on what a book is telling you from other people, what other people wrote, how about you do your own investigation and try to analyze the information I'm presenting, or forget about the presentation, the central message. You are a human being that have feelings. Wendy Kirkland, Chulum, the only one true false God, just saying. Wendy, I respect your opinion. Wendy writes, God is not nothing, just saying. Brent A, there must be a creator of the universe and the creator is Chulum. Yes, it all makes sense now. You see, Brent A, you see? The universe cannot come by itself. It cannot create itself. So there has to be a creator. Therefore, Chulum. Very simple. Brent Day also writes, I think we need to start building the theology of Chulum. Thanks be to Chulum. I think number one is Chulum doesn't care. For someone that needs a God, yeah, probably Chulum is not it's not gonna be the first on the list as a possible God for someone that is shopping around for a God. Brent A is asking, is there going to be a book of Chulum? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because then people are gonna start using this book to run some God businesses. Once they find out that Chulum is gonna be probably more attractive to people because of honesty and transparency, probably they're gonna use the book to create some kind of business. So probably Chulum is better to stay off the books. No marketing. Mr. Nicholas Holier writes, all I'm saying is if you're going to make a claim, at least make it accurate. Okay, so what's not accurate about me correcting something that Jesus supposedly said at one point in time? So you can also be more accurate. We can be more accurate. Skeptic Philosophy responding to Brent A. No books. If a book comes out, it's a lie. Yes. And people are gonna use it to make money. Chuck McNorris Clearwater's History of God's Names. It was not God at first. It was Dominus Deus in Latin. Before it was God. God is the Anglo-Saxon word for it. Thank you, Chuck McNorris, for the information. Important observation about the word God. Dominus Deus in Latin. Sounds like Domino's Pizza. Brente at Skeptic Philosophy. So rule number 2, there is no book of Chulum, and any book of Chulum is a lie. I would agree with that statement. Absolutely, yes. Chulum most likely is an observer only. No interactions, no goodies, no making you feel good, no emotional rewards, no sacrifices. Nothing to write about. Probably it's going to be one page. Chulum watches. Period. Brente, thanks be to Chulum. Skeptic Philosophy is not a rule. It's just that Chulum cares not. David Martinez, yes, but who created Chulum? I think that is a fair question that we can probably try to understand. I think that the best way to understand any possible gods, instead of going to the sky and looking to the sky, probably look internally. Understand ourselves first. Why do we have these endless images in our heads and this endless voice? Where is it coming from? And why do we get these things that we get in our bodies when we receive these images? And how come I move, my body moves when I have these images and I feel this something in my system? Where this whole mechanism came from? Good question, David Martinez. Who created Chulum? Yes. Wendy Kirkland writes, Chulum is a what Christians call the devil. Just saying. At clear waters. I don't agree with that statement, no. Because Chulum is not deceiving you. Chulum is not even trying to contact you. He's not trying to tell you lies. He's not even talking to you, so he's not gonna do the devil voice. Rawr, rawr, no. Skeptic Philosophy writes, have you ever had an ant farm? Did you make a book for the ants? Or the ant made a book for the ant farm owner? I don't know. Brent A at Skeptic Philosophy, very good point. If it were a rule, then Chulum would care. Chulum cares not. Brent A also at Skeptic Philosophy, and farm analogy is blowing my mind. You are good at this. How many channel God have you launched? Or created? Discover. Brent A, Chulum cares not. Skeptic Philosophy, none, but I have made a few for Facebook. TP Seeker, Clearwaters, I apologize for losing it last night. TP Seeker, you know, it happens to everybody. No need to apologize. But I do respect your apology. It happens, you know, everybody gets emotional sometimes. It happens to anybody. Welcome, TP Seeker, to the live stream. In this live stream, we are correcting something about what Jesus said, that I think he was omitting important information about humanity. Probably because of omitting some of these important things about humans is why probably not everybody believes in the God of the Bible and Jesus, because the messages are always, you know, I made a live stream talking about the failure of gods of the Bible communications. So we're doing a favor for God believers from the Bible, making a little correction so you can understand a little bit more and better the message that Jesus Christ probably was trying to get to you. I'm gonna cycle through some of the scenes or slides from the presentation at the beginning. In case you missed it, you can go back and watch the presentation. It was like 5-7 minutes presentation. Or I'm gonna cycle through the slides or scenes part of my presentation. So this is what Jesus said: no one comes to the Father except through me. Hey, Jesus, you're omitting something way too important. So allow me respectfully, Clearwaters, Javier, to Jesus correct you, because probably this is why most people don't believe in you and your Father. So let me do you a little favor, okay? So let me correct this message. No one comes to the Father except through me. That is not the complete picture. You know, you cannot talk about a perfect plan and gods and stuff like that and take out the most important part of God's plan, the human being. That little important part of this whole God equation. You cannot take the believer out, and you cannot strip from the believer his thoughts, his feelings, and of course, his actions. That is what a human is in this life. So I think that this correction makes absolutely perfect sense. I think TP Seeker, I think it was a great was a worth it reason to get emotional and excited about whatever was happening at the end of the live stream yesterday. It got good and ugly. Yeah, I was a little bit uncomfortable too. Oh, the question is that's the complete picture. Of course it's not. The question are always is going to arise before anyone can follow Jesus, before anyone can believe in Jesus, before anyone can obey Jesus. I don't know, why would you obey someone that you don't have never met, you don't know. But anyways, if you want to obey Jesus, before any of these things can happen, you must do your human thing that you do all the time. You must feel. Before Jesus, before the Lord of the universe, you must feel it. Otherwise, there's no Jesus or God for you. And I can hear your thoughts and your heart going, sacrilege, what is this guy saying? This YouTuber guys. What is his name? Clear Waters? Stinky Waters? What is he saying, man? Give me a headache. He's correcting Jesus. He's correcting my Jesus. Why would anyone do that? Because I think there's room for correction in his statement, which makes it more accurate. DP Seeker is asking, when was Jesus first mentioned in folklores and stories? Ooh, interesting question, man. That's for some of the viewers, probably maybe skeptic philosophy. Robert is like an encyclopedia. Much respect to Mr. Skeptic Philosophy, Mr. Robert. Skeptic Philosophy has a really nice YouTube channel. You can go check it out and subscribe to his channel. Old statement or new, Old Testament, I'm sorry, or new one. It depends, TP Seeker. You gotta look at the prophecies. When Jesus was mentioned in the prophecies in the Old Testament, because the prophecies. All right, Mr. Robert is on the Discord. One moment. Hey, Robert, how you doing?
Very well. How you been, Javier?
Good. Doing my little correction here. Doing God believers a favor and correcting a little bit of Jesus statement.
I just made it back to my seat right before I came in, so I was away from the keyboard.
All right. Hey, Professor Hazel, welcome to the live stream. TP Seeker was asking, when was Jesus first mentioned in folklores or stories, Old Testament or New? Anything, you know anything about that, Robert?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. It depends on whether you're going to consider Mark or, I guess, Josephus' writing that mentions a different Jesus that might have been influential in the character, on which one you're going to count. But I think actually Paul probably predates that. I think they put him at like 56, 58, something like that. He mentions nothing about the temple or anything like that fallen. So I think 1 Corinthians might be the first mention of Jesus as far as the dating. But again, none of these things do we have the original text. There's no text of the Bible or otherwise that we have originals. They're copies of copies, and a lot of interpolation might have been overlaid on them. We don't know.
David Martinez writes, I think they stole the Jesus story from the Greek myth Dionysus.
Dionysus. Yeah,
And
uh,
let
there
me look
there's
it up.
some elements of it. Dionysus was he's a wine god. A few wine gods come about in Rome. There's some elements for sure of Dionysus in the character of Jesus. Um, actually, who's a great person to talk about all of these different things is actually an early apologist. Justin Martyr writes the first apology, and he basically cites a lot of these different gods that had similar characteristics to Jesus, and then he kind of argues it and hand waves it off as they're all created this way to make them preemptively look like Jesus, that the devil basically made these different characters have the attributes that Jesus was going to have, so that he was pre-copycatting rather than post-copycatting what Jesus was going to be.
So maybe the figure of Jesus was inspired on Dionysus.
Among many others. I mean, Apollonius of Tyana, which is a human person, and we believe an actual person, has a lot of similarities also. So Apollonius of Tyana is a good contestant. We have Jesus ben Ananias, which is somebody that, according to I think it's Philo's writing. I'm sorry, the Antiquities of the Jews. I can't remember if it's Philo, but anyway, he mentions Jesus ben Ananias, and he mentions him saying that he was beaten and said that the temple and that this order is not going to last, right? That something's going to change. So this Ben Ananias character might be some character that like Jesus might have been loosely based off of. Might have been a real person too. I don't know.
And TP Seeker, I hope that answer um satisfies your question. So 30 years after Jesus' crucifixion.
Not if we're taking Corinthians. It'd be a little bit earlier than 30 years, but yeah. If we're taking Corinthians as like I guess 58, 59. But notably, it doesn't say that he was in a tomb. It says he was buried. It uses the Greek word for buried, like as in buried with dirt. So it was. I think Paul had a different idea than the tomb narrative.
TP Seeker writes, there's stories all over the world where people heal and resurrect the dead.
Sure.
And those African churches, they do this act like something, like it's a circus or something. I don't know if you've seen those videos.
Yes, it's not just African churches, though they do get pretty zealous. But Pentecostals, charismatic churches, both Trinitarian and Unitarian, they get pretty crazy.
And what happened?
There's a verse in the Old Testament that talks about David, and I don't remember if it mentions his zeal in this context, but it says that David danced before the Lord with all his might, referencing that like he put a lot of energy and zeal into dancing before the Lord, and a lot of apostolic churches. Or they fancy themselves apostolic. They'll use this and a few other verses about that, and also being slain in the spirit, and a comparison of being drunk in the spirit. I think it was Romans that said something about that people looking at them mistake them for being drunk in the spirit, or being drunk, but yet they were drunk in the spirit. So there's a few verses that they'll kind of base this ideal off of, this kind of charismatic dancing all over the place.
What do you think, Robert, about the statement on the screen that I have right now, correcting Jesus, adding that final part?
Yeah, that's accurate. I mean,
I mean, don't you have to
At least
feel
the latter is
something?
accurate.
I'm sorry?
I said at least the latter is accurate. I mean, but I like the mesh together for sure.
Yeah, apparently, some theists, God believers, don't agree with me. I think it was Nicholas Holier saying that my presentation is not accurate, I think. Nicholas Holier wrote, all I'm saying is if you're going to make a claim, at least make it accurate. How more accurate can it be about this statement or adding to the to Jesus' statement? I don't know, but I asked him what does he mean by that, by what he wrote. He never responded back.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little silly to deny like hope and fear as primary motivators to come to this religion. I think that's a silly thing to try to deny. I mean, it's inherent inside of the doctrine. Whether you believe the doctrine is true or false, hell is a deterrent, right? It's to deter you from not. And the notion is this is really what they're selling. If you don't believe this, you will burn in hell forever. Now, if that's not a deterrent, I don't know what the hell is. So there's a motivator to make you believe this, not only in the sense of fear, but also in the sense of hope, because you get a heaven as a reward and live forever, right? So these are appealing to, and not veiledly. They're openly appealing to your emotions. They're openly appealing to, you better fear God, you better fear this outcome, and you better love. So I think it's clear that the texts are appealing outright to your emotions first and foremost.
Do you think that when someone is asleep, they are believing?
I mean, that depends on the dream, doesn't it?
It depends on the dream.
Yeah.
Chuck McNorris, Clearwaters, did you know a guy grew back his eyes and penis after visiting the grave of Saint James Becket in year 1174? There is a stained glass church window for this story, still in England. Have you ever heard of that?
That's news to me. I hadn't heard that one. But that's not correct. Like the Catholic Church was making tons of claims about like the saints. They had like a lot of artifacts of the saints. They'd save hearts of different people. And what's weird is like there's no documentation generally of the extraction of these components. They miraculously come by it. Like they appear in a document one day and they're like, oh yes, the fingers of Saint so-and-so are moved to this. Like, wait, how did you get the fingers? Like, when did this happen? And this is just kind of how they appear. It's just like the thorn of crowns, the thorn around Jesus's head. They claim to have they possessed it, right? But like, when did you come into ownership of this? Like, how did you gain it? That's not talked about. But yeah, the Catholic Church was really big on artifacts and pieces of the saints too, as being like holy and having healing powers.
TP Seeker writes, in Japan, there's a temple shrine to a guy that healed people's visions. A husband suspected his wife of sleeping with the guy and eventually found out he was going to ask to heal his eyes. The husband felt so bad he jumped off a cliff because he didn't deserve her love. Then she sees him dead and did the same thing. The healer seen both of their bodies and resurrected them. What? Is this a true story? Or supposedly to be a true story?
Yeah, I mean, just in our lifetime. Well, not in our lifetime. It'd be before my lifetime. Sai Baba, though, is in documented history. He's recorded. You know, there's pictures of him. There's audio. There's video recording of Sai Baba. And you know, Sai Baba has thousands of people testify that he performed miracles that just were that they could not be done by a human being. So
And Sai Baba was a huge, huge con artist.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, the big one that they love would one of the best ones that are most attested to is that he would take water and pour it in a lamp, and that he would light the lamp and it would burn for hours, which I don't know about for hours, but it's weird, you can do this trick just with a super old lamp that has really saturated the fuel into the scenes and everything, and the gases will still leach off of the brass and stuff, and you can light it probably won't last for hours, but it'll last enough to convince the crowd and get a big woo, wow. It's like
Although,
heating a watch up in your hand, old trick. Like if you make a battery warmer, it'll activate for a little bit if you heat it up. So watches that are stopped, magicians would take that stopped watch and they'd cover it in their hands and they'd get it warm, and then they'd show it to the audience. Oh, look, it started back ticking. Yeah, you just warmed the battery cell up. That's all.
you saw him spitting golden eggs.
Uh-uh. He spit a golden X.
Man, but it's, the way he did it, the trick is like so badly done magic. Like he will he will make like he was going to throw up, like throw up, and then he will put a big, humongous napkin on his face, and of course he's carrying the egg, put it in his mouth, and then supposedly he's spitting it back on the napkin. He did it really bad. Everybody was seeing on the camera the way he was doing it, the way he was coming up with the golden necklaces, like people passing it to him when they were passing him stuff. They would hide it.
Yeah.
It's all on video.
Yeah. Hey, well, man, that's the risk you make when you're doing your miracles in the age of film and cameras.
Yeah, the weirdest thing is that people will see those videos and they still will believe in the guy, like he was a god in the flesh.
Yeah. James Randi, he said in an interview the thing that was most perplexing to him about the Popoff event, which I don't know if you know, there was this pastor named something Popoff. I can't.
Yep.
If somebody knows the first name,
Out in the radio.
Yeah, with the radio. Right. So he caught the guy. They got onto the frequency and they were able to pick it up and even record it. Right, and his wife's whispering the stuff into him, and like him mentioning it and bringing it all out into public, like more people were upset with him that he did this. It's almost like they wanted to believe the lie, and they knew that they wanted to believe the lie, and it's like, you're not hurting anything. You're damaging this man of God, and like they defended him, knowing that he was actively a con artist. Like, they really want to believe this crap.
He will tell people their addresses.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then after some years, he went back at it and started doing the whole thing again. And people, going and giving him money. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I want to let the people in because we're obviously in on the subject, but not everybody does. So Popoff was an evangelist that did some 10 evangelism and did a real big church thing. And he was like a healing kind of Benny Hinn kind of guy. And what would happen is people would fill out prayer cards in advance, and they'd turn those prayer cards in before the church service started.
Mhm.
His wife would read to him things that were on the prayer card that they were asking for, and would say, Jill Benson, she's got a problem with her hip. And he would be like, the Lord's telling me, Miss Jill. And she'd stand up and say, I think you've got a problem with your hip, Jill. Is that right? God's speaking to me that hip is healed in Jesus' name. But all of this was being whispered into his ear through an earbud from his wife reading the prayer cards. So yeah, a big con guy.
This is one of the goodest things that you can do with a god. You wouldn't be able to do that, to get away with that with Chulum.
Yeah.
I missed TP Seeker wrote, I try to understand others' beliefs, and all I do is end up asking more questions.
Peter Popoff. I had to look it up. It's Peter Popoff. Was the guy's name. Yep. which is a hell of a name, by the way, Peter Popoff. I wonder if he's the guy that had his no, never mind. Regrowed. Maybe it just disconnects.
The what? Regrow?
Oh, they were talking about the miracle earlier of the guy that had his Peter regrow. His pecker. Maybe it just popped on and off. It was a corny joke. I tried to land it. I couldn't bring it in right.
Brent A, best, not goodest, my friend. Goodest. When I say something crazy. Happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
I'm cycling through the scenes. Anybody joining right now on the live stream, so you know more or less what I'm talking about, in case you haven't gone back to my presentation at the beginning. Just as a reminder, my presentations start 2-3 minutes after I start the live streams. I don't wait anymore 15-20 minutes like before. Some people complain they were there early and then had to wait.
Yeah.
Peter Pop-Up's earpiece. Yeah, for anybody that wants to laugh a little bit, go research Peter Pop-Up's earpiece. I think Pop-Up, I think is wrote differently, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, they recorded it. So Randy's team recorded the audio from it. So, I mean, there's no denying it. It happened. They were able to pick up the frequency and hear it on the radio and record it.
Let me look it up.
They have the audio of his wife calling out the names and then him saying the name and saying, "The Lord spoke to me," right?
I'm trying to find a short video of him doing this thing.
Yeah. Well, the one that I saw it on the first time was actually on a documentary film about James Randi and the history of James Randi. And it showed the different people that he had like really run into heavily, like the Uri guy with the spoons and different persistent charlatans that were out there.
Man, that guy that bent spoons, man.
Yeah, and keys too, man. Let's not forget, he's not a one-trick pony. He bends keys also.
We had to admit that he was really good at it.
Convincing. Yep.
Yeah.
All you need is, if you do one trick just right, you only need one trick.
All like long videos. Oh, here I found one.
Yeah.
I can show this one. Show you who Peter Pop-Up is. YouTube. Pop-Up Ministry.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. I don't know when you're playing it on the YouTube video. Maybe I'm a little tracking a little behind on the video.
Yeah, but, there's gonna be a delay.
Yeah.
Amen. Somebody else watching.
If you're not playing it yet, what I was gonna say is there's also a great kind of Go ahead.
I was playing it, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Oh shoot, there's quite a delay. Go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, I'm playing it right now.
With pain. All your joints ache. God is going to bring the swelling down right now as I pray for this woman. Sister, God is going to touch you. And I'll tell you, He's going to recreate these joints, make them new. Oh, even the unbelievers, the doubters, and the skeptics are going to see divine favor, divine blessing. Oh, move all your joints where there was pain. Well, what happened?
It's gone.
If you had nerve damage in both of your legs, feel your legs now. Something's happened in those legs. Is that you, sister, in the green? Come on out here. The Lord said, just shake her a little bit.
But you know, I noticed I made a mistake. I'm taking these videos from his own website.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Shut it down, man.
Yeah.
You know, Yeah, it's not going to show the recording like the one that was in the documentary when that James Randi gave the film to. He had the recording overlaid with it. So he had the audio recording from the earpiece that he picked up, and he overlaid it with the guy, what's actually happening in the room.
Okay, here I found one. Let me show this one.
Call him the prophet who profits. 20 years ago, Peter Popoff was a televangelist who just declared bankruptcy after his preaching methods were exposed as a fraud. Now our Inside Edition investigation reveals he's back, and as Matt Mahar reports, his style of living is better than ever.
Lord, let this anointing and power flow through our sister now.
He claims he's a healer, that the power of God flows through him and can cure whatever ails you.
Brand new!
He's the televangelist Peter Popoff, appearing on infomercials seen across the country. He claims he can perform miracles.
What happened to the pain?
It's gone.
And Popoff doesn't just heal your body. He says he can heal your wallet, too.
I'll never be broke another day in my life. Say it again.
But this isn't the first time Popoff's been on television. 2 decades ago, on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, Popoff was exposed as a fraud.
And we picked up something interesting.
The expose was carried out by this man, well-known skeptic James Randi. Popoff claimed God spoke directly to him, and he seemed to know everything about the people attending his crusades, including their health problems.
Burning this arthritis right out of your body.
But Randi took a scanner to some of Popoff's crusades and picked up radio transmissions. Turns out the voice Popoff heard wasn't God's, but his wife's.
I'm talking to you. Can you hear me? If you can't, you're in trouble.
You see, Popoff's wife, Elizabeth, had previously gotten personal information from people in the audience and then fed it to her husband electronically through a tiny earpiece.
Jody Dean.
Jody Dean? Jody Dean?
No, she should be right there on your right side. Okay, she lives at 4267
Man, unbelievable.
Masterson.
4267 Masterson. I can see the angels of God all around your house.
That's disturbing when you see it.
After the scam was exposed, Popoff dropped out of sight and declared bankruptcy in 1987.
I'm gonna throw this, Walker.
But that was then, and this is now. Popoff is back, and business is better than ever. He operates out of this giant facility east of Los Angeles. According to tax returns, Popoff's ministry took in more than $23 million in 2005. He paid himself more than $600,000. He paid about $600,000 more to his wife and 2 kids.
Popoff's back.
He drives this $100,000 Porsche, and he lives in this home worth $2.1 million. Where does all the money for this lavish lifestyle come from? Well, people who watch Popoff shows are encouraged to send away for his free Miracle Spring Water.
And that's why I want you to have the Miracle Spring Water.
But is it really free? Our Miracle Water came with what Popoff calls a bag of sacred Dead Sea salt. I'm supposed to sprinkle it over a check made out to Popoff for $27. It's really just a tiny package of salt that you would get at a deli or fast food restaurant. As for the miracle water, I'm supposed to drink it, wait 5 days, and I'll be blessed with riches. Of course, I'm supposed to send Popoff another check.
You see, it's not the water that releases the power. It's your obedience to the instructions of the prophet of God.
Kathy Rowe and her disabled husband Donald fell for Popoff's pitch.
Surely God would see our pain and bless us.
They borrowed thousands of dollars from relatives, saying they were going to pay their bills, but instead, they sent it to Popoff, $4,500 in all.
I just look back on it and think, you know, I'm a pretty stupid person.
We wanted to ask Popoff a few questions. Reverend Popoff?
Yes.
Matt Mahar with Inside Edition. Could I ask you a few questions about your ministry? Hey, you're squeezing me.
Sorry.
How can you justify taking all of this money from people that are desperate? Can you just answer us one question?
Sad, though.
Can you just move away, please?
Would you talk to us later, please?
No.
James Randi says he's not surprised that Popoff is back.
Flim-flam is his profession. That's what he does best. He's very good at it, and naturally he's going to go back to it.
Hallelujah!
Kathy Rowe, the lady you met, says she only stopped sending Popoff money 2 months ago when she had no money left for food. She says she now feels that she was brainwashed by watching Popoff on television.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah.
I've studied
I'm
over
glad that like some of it
687
got
option
recorded and we can
strategies
see
to
the
find
person.
out which ones
You
actually.
ended the stream, didn't you?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't stop the video. Now it stopped. Yeah, incredible, man.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Done something got stuck here. There you go. Yep. That's Peter Popoff. I think he's probably still doing that today.
Yeah, maybe, unless he's kicked the bucket. But I'm sure he had a very expensive funeral.
Tipi Tao. I remember watching Popoff when I was a kid. It helped me realize Christianity was BS.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think it intrinsically shows that there's something wrong with Christianity or the doctrine of it, but there is something wrong with the people and their willingness. And I think him being able to exist and people like him, it demonstrates the willingness for people. They want to believe so bad that they can easily just get taken advantage of.
So why would anybody, why would anybody even question, for example, in my case, what are you talking about feelings, Javier? I mean, how can you be disconnected from reality that you're going to ask me what feelings have to do with God?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I think people trying to troll me or something. I don't know.
They're probably being dishonest with themselves. That's all. I'm telling you, there's a whole doctrine of speak things that are not as though they are and they will become, that has become like a worm in people's mind, that they think the more they say something and reinforce it, the truer it makes it.
You know, sometimes I step back a little bit talking about, you know, I don't like to use the word feelings. I like to use the word feel, because I'm trying to refer to this energy that we as human beings feel. That's what I keep using, feel, because I don't know what other name to call this. But everything that happens in relationship to the God of the Bible in case of Christianity, or Muhammad in the case of Quran and Allah, it must be felt first.
Yeah.
In order for anything of this God to happen, the believing, the interaction, the praying, the worshiping, it has to be felt first. Sometimes people ask me, Javier, what are you saying? You know, what does feeling have to do with believing in God? It has everything to do with your feelings. That the Bible says that feelings are deceiving. Yes, I agree with that, because it's supposed to be a tool. It's not supposed to be a way to evaluate end results or conclusions. It's not good for that. It's good for moving in direction, but it's not good for jumping to conclusions. I would like myself to understand this energy a little bit more myself, especially in my case, that I have been through some traumatic experiences in my life. Well, I know a thing or two about fear and love, anxiety, stuff like that.
So I'm not sure that, like, feeling is one part, desire is another part. Like we desire a particular feeling, right? And we desire these feelings. So I'm trying to think of what his name was. Sigmund Freud gave an analogy of the fruit, that he thought that the fruit was a great ideal from the writer of from Genesis to manifest the ideal of desire. Like that we want things. And if you think about it now, like what distinguishes us from AI or robotics or whatever is like we want. It starts with I want. And we do have these desires, and feelings are how we feel is a large part of these desires, you know. So we desire to feel good over feeling bad. And what's weird is there's almost this like this I guess it's a euphemism that happens in the Bible, the heart. It talks about the heart, and what it really means is what you desire. So when it says to walk in the ways of your heart, like in Ecclesiastics, or follow God with all your heart, it's saying, you know, desire this. It's trying to put in, hey, you should desire this. And I think it is desiring a feeling. It's desiring what that feeling, you know, makes you comfortable, makes you not fear death. You desire not to feel death. This thing makes you not do that.
I think that when you mention desire, the first thing that comes to my mind is being on a negative feel state.
Yeah.
Once you find yourself in a negative feel state about some scenario, something specific in your life, probably being alone, having no spouse, no partner, you're gonna go probably slowly or fast into a negative feel state. You're gonna start feeling slowly, and you're gonna crave to move or to get into a positive feel state, probably thinking in your head, maybe I can find a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a wife, a husband. And those thoughts drive you and move you or motivate you to probably go out more, or probably join a one of those apps or dates, or take action on something. But the desire, in my point of view, comes from getting yourself somehow, for some reason, in a negative feel state. Seems to me. So when it comes to God, the first thing that comes to my mind is what other thing in this life is going to offer you eternal life but a God? In the case of the God of the Bible, I think it makes the promise that you're going to have eternal life. So I think that for anybody that has anxiety or is in a negative feel state based on having anxiety and fear of what's going to happen when we die, the promise of this God of the Bible in the book starts to make sense. And we attach this value, this importance to our negative feel state in order to get ourselves out of that negative feel state and move into a positive feel state. Just by the data, not by being safe or having eternal life right now, because right now you don't have an eternal life and you still feel good about it. You have made yourself jump into a good feel state just by applying value to this data about eternal life from the God of the Bible. I think that's the reason why probably Chulun doesn't make it as an option for God for many people, because there's nothing that is offering by Chulun to move you from one feel state to another one.
Yeah, I mean, you could also say if nothing's offered, there's nothing to be desired.
Mm-hmm. Oh, probably in the God is not the God. What is attracting people? I'm sorry, I'm being repetitive. Attracting people to God. People are being attracted by the, I don't know if I'm being correct here, the feelings or the offering that people can use to move themselves out of a negative feel state. That's where people are putting their value, not in the God, but in what they get from the believing. That's a little bit complicated.
So the Old Testament is, before the Greek culture has any influence on it, the Old Testament is super clear about these desires, as far as these ideas of streets of gold or jewels on the doors. We get this again later in Revelation. This ideal of jewels and stuff on the door, these physical adornments that are desired by humans, like that represent money, represent power, that represents their lust for it. And they're like, oh yeah, these things will be what heaven's made out of. You know, these things that are desirable to a physical flesh human being, yeah, they're going to be in heaven or some representation of it. So they're ornaments of desire is what they are. And they're telling you they're going to be hung on the gates and stuff. These ornaments of desire will be everywhere. It knows that it's appealing to the desire of humans.
Do you think that any religion or doctrine that is appealing to people's emotions could be a way to tell that that religion probably they're not being honest?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. You don't want to read too much into something being a byproduct of a thing rather than the core of a thing. So some things can just be a byproduct of a fact being true. Could be X, whereas, well, like Y might be the fact is true and X is just a byproduct, rather than they're trying to push X as true because you want X to be true. So I don't know. It could be either way. I will say this: it's very telling that when people are trying to convince you of the religion, that rather than appealing to methodological conclusion, like I got to this by, and then showing the method of logic that they use to arrive at it, they immediately instead try to appeal to your emotion and say, yes, but you'll burn in hell, or aren't you afraid? Like this, like when they start appealing to these things, that's you've showed your hand, in my opinion.
Yeah, I say over and over in my live streams that that's one way I can tell that a God is not real. When the God is appealing to your feelings, to your emotions, it seems to me that that's not coming from a God. That's most likely coming from a person. One thing that I've noticed tonight, that there's believers on the live stream right now, and they're extremely quiet right now. I wonder why that is. Probably because they think that this correction I made to Jesus makes sense, and they're like thinking about it, like, what can I say about this?
Oh, never
Oops.
underestimate their ability to tacitly let go of anything you're saying logically. Never underestimate their ability to poke their head deep in the sand. It is a very well learned trait for people in this.
That is weird, man. No, it's not that weird. I remember myself when I was a believer, and I don't know, learn some tactics to defend anything about God. Luckily myself, I was not getting into debates or anything like that, but once in a while someone will make a comment and I will say something back, and then when I'm by myself, I'm like, man, why did I say that? I don't even know if that's true. I think that happens to a lot of believers.
Yeah.
They go back to their rooms or in their houses. They're like, man, well, I say that.
They paint themselves into a corner with their apologetics. They're not the first. I mean, since Justin Martyr, that people have been painting themselves into a corner with their apologetics. They're trying to defend a proposition that it seems difficult to logically defend, and they wind up making all of these different frameworks to support it and prop it up, and then they realize, oh God, that's a stupid framework. Why did I say that? So we might have heard some just here yesterday. We heard that if you don't sin, you don't need Jesus to go to heaven, right? We heard, I don't know if you remember that, but like if you never sin, technically you don't need Jesus to forgive them. You could go to heaven. And that's an interesting one. I think it's like there's some good textual support for this, but then there's this verse like that there's only one way to the Father, and that's through me. So I don't know. I think the person backed themselves into a defensive argument that they made arguments that they shouldn't have made.
So if the person never sins, shouldn't have to go through Jesus.
Yeah.
To go straight to heaven. Yeah, I think that's a interesting point.
Yeah. There was a bunch of weird arguments that are made. Like people back themselves into these corners to defend these positions all the time, and rather than admitting that they back too far into that logic, they'll keep on like defending it, and they'll double down, dig their heels into it. No, I'm gonna like totally defend this until it crumbles and makes me look stupid in front of everyone.
You know, I think that we know we have heard many excuses, evasive tactics from theist believers. In the sentence that I corrected from Jesus, no one comes to the Father except through me, but no one comes to me unless their feelings move them to. In the case of Nicholas Holier, when he wrote that to make a claim, at least make it accurate. What do you think I could be more accurate about this correction that I made from Jesus' statement, in your point of view, Robert?
I don't know. It's pretty solid, if I'm to be honest. I don't know what could be corrected about it. I mean, there's some interpretation of whether you could cash this out as your feelings moving you, or whether you should say something like convinced. Like this argument is done. I'm trying to think of the guy that makes the convinced argument all the time, that you can't be compelled to believe something that you're not convinced is true. I'm trying to think what his name is. He's fairly popular in some of these circles, but the idea that you need to be convinced that Jesus is true before you can accept him. It's not like as you can just choose to accept a thing is true, right? Something has to convince you, whether you give more weight to your feelings or if you give more weight to a logical argument. You have to give some kind of weight to that and be convinced that this thing is true. It's not as if you just choose to believe, right? Can you choose to believe a thing that you don't believe? I don't think you can.
I think in my point of view, basically something has to click in the inside. And when people say click, they start feeling something.
Yeah, well, it's the weight, right? Like everything, I'm trying to think who the writer that uses the term volume, like particular experiences or particular inputs might have a higher volume or resonance with you. So you might value a particular feeling, and that value of that feeling goes super, super high, whereas the value of other logical structures, continuity, arguments, like those aren't as valuable to you and your position that you're holding as a feeling that you had. So it's when you're determining whether something's true or not, it really, like, what is the heaviest thing that's on the scale is what we need to ask ourselves. Is it a particular feeling or sensation that we relate to that being God? Is that what's the heaviest thing on the scale?
Okay, so remember I asked you about someone being sleeping. If they're believing in that moment, probably it depends on what they're dreaming about. What about if someone is not unconscious? Are they believing and feeling in that moment?
No.
I don't think they're doing any believing at that moment.
Yeah, if there's not a dream. But that's the thing with dreams. Like, dreams are difficult to even predict or project. When you're doing brainwave monitoring, they're difficult to know whether there's a dream going on or not.
I think that in the case of someone being unconscious, they have to process information. They have to be able to feel in order to be believing at that moment. There's got to be some process happening at that moment. I think it's pretty much the same. I don't know if I'm mistaken, but if someone that doesn't know about the God of the Bible, doesn't know about Jesus, probably if Jesus stands in front of this person and doesn't say anything, what could happen at that moment to that person? Are they going to get excited, or they're going to feel nothing and just walk away? Or probably the promises have to start in order for the person to find some problems in their life and trying to connect value that this Jesus is offering to them in order to feel good about Jesus.
Yeah, two things. Thanks, first of all, Charles Oliver. That's the guy I was thinking of. John Cohen. He's the one that makes that argument of being convinced that you can't choose to believe a thing. I would probably argue with small little caveats, small little parts of that. Like, obviously you can live in a particular area that those things become more and more available to you, or you can live through different dispensations in your life that you're more credulous to particular ideas and they're more influential on you. So you position yourself to be more likely to believe in a particular thing. But that said, there was something else I wanted to mention that you touched on, and I wanted to go back to. Forget it. Old man brain.
I'm trying to get a little bit into the details of someone coming from not believing to believing. There's got to be a process taking place in the person's mind, finding value, and then getting into believing, because they're finding something of value in the promises, not in the God itself. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying myself to understand this process, but at least to me, it makes a lot of sense. TP Seeker, it's amazing to see the BS people will believe in. All over Europe, people used to do pilgrimages. How many American Christians have heard or done pilgrimages? Man, I have heard that word many times, but I think it's something about going some places or doing something or walking around. A pilgrimage is a sacred spiritual journey to a holy site. Yes. Here in Panama, they do something like that. People walk, I think it's close to 40, 60 miles or something like that. Some people do it on their knees to a black Christ in a secondary city here in Panama. Crazy. When they finally arrive to the church where the black Christ is, I mean, their knees are like bleeding.
Yeah. There's pilgrimages, and then there's processions that they used to do where they would have a giant group that would march. And there's actually good reason to think that the term bless you actually come from one of those, that when we had a plague outbreak, that the priests marched through the cities and were basically, trying to shoo the demons of the plague away, to make it go away. And they would wish blessings on people when they were sick. And it might have been where the first, like now when people cough, as soon as they cough or show any kind of symptom, like they're like, bless you. This might have been the origin of it. There's I read a Wikipedia article on it that suggested that it was one of the primary competing historical things that may be where it came from. Bless you. As a tradition when they cough or sneeze.
I'm trying to remember the word. You said procession, right?
Yes, processions. They would they plague processions. They would do this during plagues, or they'd do this during cleansing if they thought that like a bad religion had come into their town and too many people, like they were going to cleanse it. So they'd march a large group and they'd do prayers. They'd do the incense. A holy man would lead the group as they did prayers, walking through the street to get rid of the plague.
Well, they still do that here in Panama. They do it right in front of my apartment. Every year you can hear walking around and singing, carrying probably a cross or something. Yeah, every year by Eastern, yes. It's a relative small group. I remember when I was a kid, I don't know, probably thousands of people. Today it's like probably 20 people, something like that. Not many people participating nowadays, not like before when I was a kid, man. There was thousands and thousands of people. That's what I'm telling Diva. I think people are losing interest in the God of the Bible. The churches, man, when I used to go, nowadays I go with one of my friends. I used to go and play the drums, a little bit the drums in church, but I didn't participate. He knows I'm not a believer, but I can tell that less people are going to church. at least to the Catholic Church. That's one thing I've noticed a lot through the years.
It's not just the Catholic. I only mention that, and I'm positioned strangely in a weird job to know a fair amount about the growth and the decline of churches. I'm actually a fire extinguisher service technician licensed by the state, and I go into about 800 properties a year doing their fire extinguisher service, and I do lots of churches, and they're definitely, their attendance is declining to the degree that many of the smaller ones are struggling, and many of them are shutting down.
Do you do any churches, like from any denomination?
Oh, yeah, any church. Any church. Yeah, I do plenty for the archdiocese buildings. I do probably, and this is Louisiana, especially our part of Louisiana. So I do probably 85 churches on an annual cycle that I'm in those churches every year.
Wow. What's that preacher's name? Nell Austin, or a huge church. I know that he's going broke. Austin.
Most of these are going to be smaller.
Joel Austin. Austin.
Oilstein, yeah. Olstein, somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, Joel, that's Texas, actually. I think he's got the church in Texas.
It's an American pastor, televangelist, businessman, and really businessman. I've seen videos that people are not going to his church.
Oh, poor Joel. Oh, man.
So he's only making like $400 a year. So he's not making any more 800, 900.
Yeah. Oh, poor Joel. How will he make it, man? I feel bad for him. No, I'm curious, Javier. It doesn't seem like English is your first language. You were raised in Panama area?
Yes, I was actually born in the States, but we moved to Panama when I was a kid.
What's it, Guana, or what's the other languages over there? What was your first language?
Spanish.
Spanish. Oh, okay.
I mean, my first language should be English because I was born in the States, but we moved to Panama when I was like three years old, I think. I didn't get to pick up the English language.
Okay.
I moved back to the States when I was 16, and that's where I really learned English.
Yeah. Well, I was mentioning it because we had a little bit of criticism earlier about the way that you used a particular word. But if anyone else has a second language and you speak it as well as Javier is speaking his second language, I got to tell you, it's pretty good.
And I remember, thank you. I remember when I was in a job in the States, my English was I could talk to people. And my friends at work were laughing at me, like, Javier has a strong accent. Sometimes he says, instead of wiener, he says wiener. And some guy says, like, well, Javier can speak two languages. Man, the room went quiet and everybody went back to work.
Yeah.
But, they were not really like making fun of me. We always make fun of everybody, So, but that was interesting. I can at least speak two languages. And the mother of my kids makes fun of me sometimes because I say, like, for example, 2000 instead of 2000.
Yeah. I am trying to get my phonetics down first and get my pronunciations of the Koine, like diphthongs and other things. So I'm trying to learn Koine Greek, and there's not a good phonetics software or anything that you can learn Koine. You can learn modern Greek, but the pronunciations are going to be extremely different, the spelling and everything.
Koine?
Yeah, Koine.
What is
Koine
it?
Greek. That is classical Greek. It's what the all of the New Testament text would have been written in the original hand. And all of your older documents, so they would have been written in that. And I'm trying to, not just obviously for the Bible, but for external, I'm always reading church father stuff and reading some of their texts. And a lot of the real early ones would have been Greek. And then by 230, 250, a lot of Latin would have been coming in.
Can you say anything in Greek?
No, not really. I mean, I know a few words, but I don't really know how to put.
Bro,
much
do you
of a
know the
sentence
bad
together.
words first? That's what everybody learns first. The bad words.
A little bit, but I'll say this: like, there's a lot of words that you use as markers to figure out your location, to see like if you see a word "kai" in the text, I'll pay attention to what "kai" or "see" or different words that are like they're "but," "and," or "yap." I'll use or "Allah." So it's like Allah, but it's like alpha. Logos alpha is how it's spelled, and it's basically like but or rather. So you look for a bunch of words that are conjunction words, and they'll give you your location when you're scanning over it, and then you can get to the better translation of the words. Anyway, I've been playing with it for a little while. I need to get more dedicated to my list of spelling words and start doing my sentence structures. But
Is that how you spell it? Koine, Greek?
Koine, it's K-O
I-N-E?
Yeah, K-O.
Yeah, Charles Oliver wrote it on the chat.
Yeah.
Have you tried with ChatGPT?
Yeah, ChatGPT is fairly helpful. ChatGPT has helped me with build a lesson plan and everything for it. But also, ChatGPT helps with diacriticals and rules of the vocabulary, and like whether something is attached to if a verb is attached to the noun preceding it or behind it. Like, there's a lot of rules in the Koine that ChatGPT is familiar with the rules, and it does very well at educating me.
The other day I tried to ask ChatGPT, can you teach me a little bit of Italian? Questo orologio, la macchina americana. I'm like, wait. Calm down. I just know how to say pizza. I don't know if that's Italian, but yeah, you can learn any language with AI, man. Really good.
I started learning with it very early on, though, and I found out that like the modern reconstructed words and the pronunciations originally, now ChatGPT's gotten better, but when I first started with it, like it was not getting a lot of the pronunciations correct onto what scholarship thinks the pronunciation should be. But now it's doing way better these days.
All right, Robert, let me ask you something else in reference to the presentation that I was making about correcting Jesus Christ, which I know some people that believe in God is probably offended right now. I don't know, probably that's why so many people are quiet, believers quiet on the, I know they're there on the live stream listening.
Who knows?
But how much you think this believing in God because of emotions, how much do you think is problematic, if you can put a percentage to it?
Ooh. Well, I don't think anyone, for any reason, should believe a fact claim for emotional reasons. I think it's the wrong. You should believe it because a methodological conclusion brings you to that. Like if I asked you what's the best number, for example, where do you even start with that? It's like that's not a logical thing. But if you're emotionally in it, you'll be like, yeah, the best number is, and then you'll just state a number that you're emotionally attached to. So
if we take it a little bit apart, doing some investigation here into a human behavior, I mean, it seems quite clearly to me that someone's actions is being driven by fear.
Yeah.
So I think the one thing we cannot ignore is that people move because of something they're feeling.
Yeah, and I don't think that doing actions because of feelings is necessarily inherently wrong. I want to be clear. I think that two things should be separated. I think our right hand and our left hand, kind of, if you can imagine this, how we determine what reality is should be done entirely with logic. We shouldn't use feelings to determine what reality is. once we've determined what reality is, what we do about that, we have to use our feelings to decide what it is we do about that. So if we're evaluating something like global warming, for instance, our feelings should not be a part of this conversation. We should evaluate this entirely logical, and then whatever we find out about it, like our decision to act on that information, that is going to be feelings. That is going to be our emotional sensibilities. So I think emotions is not a bad thing. It compels us to do things, but it's not how we should determine what reality is.
The first thing that comes to my mind is then what would motivate you to even have thoughts or contemplate the topic about global warming?
Right. You're like, to be concerned with the subject to start with is, it's just being concerned about the subject. A fact does not make. So it might motivate you to try to understand what's going on, and that's fine. But all understanding and all propositions that you hold and you say X is true, like the foundation of that X is true statement should not have emotion in it. The foundation of that should be logical. It should be evidentiary. What motivated you to find that foundation, that can be emotional. What you do with what you've learned, and how you want to change that, how you want to interact with that, that's all emotional. But the fact itself is not based on an emotion.
So again, taking it more apart, it seems to me that the only way that a human being is going to move towards anything is going to be through feel.
Sure.
But what you're saying, and I agree, once you move yourself from point A to point V, and you're going to evaluate whatever is on point B, you're not moving. So you don't need feel for evaluating what's on point B, because
yes, exactly.
Probably using feel for that, which doesn't require movement, probably you're using the wrong tool for the wrong job. And you run the risk of coming to the wrong conclusion based on using the wrong tool.
Yeah.
Which should not be feel. So if you believe in a God, let's say the God of the Bible, you were moved towards the God of the Bible because of something that you felt, something that is being offered by the God compelled you, drove you, persuaded you, motivated you to move towards God. And once you arrive to the God and you look to all the information, you continue to feel good about everything, and you're not really using the other tool, which should be logical analysis, critical thinking at that moment. So probably you come into a conclusion based on your feelings and not using, I don't know, probably another tool that should be critical thinking, not feelings at that moment. And you run the risk to come to the wrong conclusion about a God. You can come to the wrong conclusion about a politician. You can come to the wrong conclusion about finding supposedly the right husband or wife. You can run into many mistakes in life because using feelings to come to conclusions, which should only be a tool to move around in life. I don't know. What do you think, Robert?
Yeah, I think that's the case. I think, like, you could think of these as function 1 and function 2 repeating. Like whether it's a left step and then a right step to move us forward, or if you parse this out as one is seeing the path and one is walking the path, like to know, is logic should be used to know. Yes, emotion is used to walk, to move. So, but you got to know with something separate. It's like corrupting the process of coming to a conclusion. If you're allowing emotion, you're allowing the right hand to get involved with what the left hand's doing, and that's not that side of the brain is operating in the wrong hemisphere, so to speak.
So if we take this to something else more neutral, more life, more down to earth, let's take it away from the God. Let's talk about probably finding a wife or a husband or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, something that has to do with relationships. How will this work? So probably in my case, I see a woman and something cuts my attention, probably the hair, long hair. I like long hair, black hair maybe. If I'm at that moment, let's say in a little bit of a negative state because I haven't been without a girlfriend or wife or whatever for 2-3 years, I'm like, man, I'm finding value right here, right now with this lady that I'm finding in front of me. And I continue to get more data about this woman that I'm starting to find value. So I'm starting to feel things based on the data that I'm getting from this lady in front of me, to the point that I find so much value that I move towards the lady and say hi, which I would normally not do with hundreds of women that I see every day because I find no value. But this one, I find value. I move towards the lady. Once I'm in front of the lady and I say hi, she says, hi. Something's telling me probably, hey, are you gonna continue base your approach to this lady based on feelings? Are you gonna evaluate what you have in front of you in a more critical way? Because you can jump into blind love immediately and not really think about anything anymore and just going by feel, which we know as human beings, we're adults, what that most likely is gonna get us to, into a big, huge mistake. So at that moment, I'm like, wait a second, I'm getting other data that I'm gonna pull away from feelings and just feeling, and then I'm gonna analyze the data and I'm like, man, you know what? No, I don't think this is for me. I'm out. Do you think that that's a good, accurate example about a situation that we go through in this life?
Yeah, kind of. I think this love category is a very known blind spot for many people, where logic doesn't play as large of a role as perhaps we would like it to play. But yes, with something like you're talking about, this is, there is a shift, obviously. But I've heard comedians and stuff make these jokes about, like, if you see this beautiful woman and all, see her mom first, as a kind of alluding to like women turn into some kind of figure of their mother, and just keep that in mind, right? So people, I think we jokingly talk about the benefits of thinking this thing through now, rather than it just being a compulsory kind of attraction. But I think for the most part, none of us do great at that. None of us do great at that. We are compelled by emotion. We have feelings in that category, and I don't know that that's particularly bad. Sometimes it is.
Odd Mud, welcome to the live stream. Odd Mud Rice, never been here before. Scary. Ooh, yes. Odd Mud, you know, people being honest and transparent is very scary.
Hell yeah.
What are we talking about? We're talking about correcting Jesus, making corrections so we can speak more clearly and openly to humanity. We're talking about humanity right now. We're talking about the believer. So, to add a little bit more to this topic about relationships, one of these things about being blindly in love is people getting into marriages, especially men with a lot of money, and not making prenups.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll happen.
Once the feel good goes away, then you go back to reality and to critical thinking. You are like, what was I thinking? You were not thinking, you were feeling. You were using the wrong tool at the wrong moments. You do the same thing with relationships. You do the same thing with politicians, and you do the same things with gods.
Hey, let me make a plug while your numbers are where they are.
Mhm.
Tomorrow, I'm fixing to be on Godless Granny's channel. We're taking call-ins and whatnot on the subject of whether we can be good or moral without God. That's on Godless Granny's channel, and I'll put a link in there. And then the following day, I'm fixing to have Hizzle on my channel talking about why atheists and agnostics even come to these places and have these conversations. So check us out.
Awesome. That's Skeptic Philosophy's channel.
Yeah.
It's on the chat also. Go subscribe to his channel too. Interesting information.
Appreciate it. That's the link for Godless Granny's channel for the art talk tomorrow.
You want to put
And
it on
we'll
the chat?
Yeah, I put it on the YouTube. It's on the side right there. It doesn't link because I don't have any street cred around here.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll get a few people call in on the subject.
I put it on the chat.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so Robert, I think that is I don't know how important it is. In my point of view, it's extremely important to have these conversations about how we process information. I think it's getting us in trouble in all matters of life. We're talking about relationships, also money, politics.
Yeah.
And of course, I keep repeating, and one of the main topics in this channel is beliefs in gods, which I think is problematic because the conclusion that we come in that a God is real is through some process that is emotional and it's not really something that is logical, which I think it should be. Or I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, it should be experimental, maybe, and not based on secondhand testimonies or other people telling us about gods and then accepting that information as true and real because of how we feel about the information. It's a big problem.
I've seen some YouTube videos of some more science education that are trying small experiments, and they have hypotheses and they're getting super excited, and they're being reminded by friends like, calm down, don't get too excited for it yet, because it might not be the case. It might not be the way the experiment's going to turn out. But that's the thing in science. Like, they always try to temper those expectations of things because that might not be how it works. And we have to try to follow the data. And the problem with religion is that it regularly encourages you to invest more into those emotional commitments to those positions rather than saying, hey, calm down, maybe it's not true. How do we logically arrive at these positions? And I think that's very important, to stop and kind of keep them separated. We're keeping separated that which compels us and that our epistemology, the methodology in which we come to know or conclude a thing is true.
So I think basically what a believer in a God is doing, they're coming to the conclusion based on how they feel about the God, and then they're trying desperately to logically make sense of it, which I think is probably backwards.
Yeah. If they kept the two separated, we all should keep the two separated. I mean, honestly, it's a left foot, right foot. These are two different processes. You should think of everything as epistemology or alt statements. Honestly, you could literally think of it like that. You could think of it, what ought I do with this information? And you can think, how do I come to a conclusion? And these are two different questions. Like, how do I come to a conclusion is an epistemological question, and there's a methodology of coming to that conclusion. And then, what ought I do with this information? What should I do with this information? It's a separate conclusion. That's your internal impulses. That's where your feelings are important.
Someone that believes in the God of the Bible, for example, says, I asked that person, how did you come to the conclusion that the God mentioned in a book is the one that created the universe? Most people say, well, I know because I know. That is my God.
Or
Faith, or, something that is extremely illogical.
Yeah.
And they say, what are you talking about feelings? God has nothing to do with feelings. But wait a second, you're coming to a conclusion totally based on feelings.
Yeah.
Nothing that makes any sense to anybody, only to you or anybody that believes in the same God that you believe. Which again is extremely problematic. Admat writes, I'm lucky. I have a good wife. She's half my age. So she shouldn't wear out too quickly either. What?
Get to raise her a little, huh?
Shouldn't wear out? Man, that sounds weird. Out of Babylon, tomorrow is not promised. Today is the day of salvation. Salvation from what?
Yeah, everybody's got to be saved from the big bad boogeyman, right back to the feelings. Every introduction of a conversation is it's just permeated and penetrated with feelings constantly. Like we're afraid of this outcome and we have to be saved from it. That's where you go after all of this conversation about talking about keeping these things separate.
Go to salvation, straight to salvation.
Straight to salvation. It's
Oh man, I don't know. Out of Babylon sometimes say things that, you know, make a little bit of sense, and then boom, he says something crazy.
Yeah.
Admad is asking, what is salvation, I guess. Charles Oliver writes, it rubs the salve/salvation on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
Oh my God, that is so good. That's hilarious.
Out of Babylon, death is not natural.
Yeah, it's pretty natural.
Seems to me that is natural.
Everything in nature that is alive dies. Yeah, that seems pretty natural.
Bert Russell writes, I need to be safe from all the religious crackpots. Dude. Admad, I need saving from salvation, just in case someone doesn't understand very much what salvation is. Salvation is being saved by God from God. God is the hero and he's also the villain. He's the savior and he's the punisher. Only this God of the Bible can do this, man. It's his own mafia. EP Seeker writes, depends on how the death happened. Besides that, all life ends with death.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just death, right? It's entropy. It's the breaking down of bonds, right? Even atomic decay. So not even talking about life, right? Just things that are inanimate and aren't even alive. Like the atoms are in a state of decay and are breaking down. So like the bonds are breaking. This is like, if there's one thing that is natural, then we could say one single thing in this world was natural. It's decay, right? So it's so weird for people to say that it's not natural. That's crazy to me.
And the only thing that sometimes makes me think about death is these stories about these kids remembering past lives with names and places. Like, sounds to me like a recycled consciousness or recycled soul or something like that being used again. I don't know if you have seen any of the stories, like the Indian girl that was saying that to her mother, "You're not my mom."
Yeah.
You saw that story?
No, I haven't.
Man, the girl was telling her parents that you're not my parents, and he pointed them to where she used to live, and it was absolutely accurate everything. Supposedly, there's a documentary about it, and there's the other kid that also supposedly was a pilot, and died in a World War II airplane. and he was describing his friends and the ship that he was stationed on and everything.
Yeah. Can I ask a question to
Sure.
somebody here in the audience? They're saying the devil has the power over death, and they're just right back into like just making these proclamations of how they think reality is because they read a book. And I'm curious if there is something that I could say or show you to make you believe that Zeus is actually the real true god and head of the pantheon. Is what particularly, is there a book or something that is attributed to Zeus that I could read from that would convince you that this is the case? Or what would it take for you to believe that Zeus is the true god and head of the pantheon of gods? Ask yourself that question before you post things like that, or we're just supposed to tacitly say, oh yeah, okay, that's true. Like, what are we supposed to do with that?
I think that the main conclusion that someone can come to by reading out of Babylon's comment about the devil has thy power of death, not God. I think out of Babylon learned to say these things somewhere else, probably read it on a book or heard it in some church. I don't think he has never met the devil. So I don't know. For me, when people say these things, is someone else talking through them, not really thinking and analyzing the information. I don't think out of Babylon has never seen the devil, never had this experience with the devil, talked to the devil, seen the devil, smelled the devil, but learned to say these things somewhere. Maybe behind it, there's some feeling of importance saying these things. Maybe, I don't know, try to sound smart or knowledgeable.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've heard it said that only fools think the devil smells like sulfur. The real devil smells like ginger and honey.
Ginger and honey. BC Stargazer, I just uploaded your salvation, the usual place. Probably this is reference to something else. Charles Oliver is asking, out of Babylon, where did the devil get its authority?
Yeah. It's like Job is so clear on this. Like, the devil can't even kill a person without asking God, and God's like, yeah, go ahead and do that. So it's a funny question.
I don't know why would anybody fear the devil when the one doing the killing is the God, not the devil. The devil is just deceiving. He's like, rawr, lying to people, but God is the one doing the torturing. Why would you worry about the devil? If there's such a thing as a devil, which I think devil in reality is just ignorance.
It's all anthropomorphizing extremes of sensation, right? Like, there's this thing that is the perfect and right thing to do, right? And we've anthropomorphized that, and we anthropomorphize that into a character that we call Jesus or God or Vishnu or whatever you want to put that as. That's the manifestation of our ideas and concepts of everything right and good and true and holy, and then everything that's bad and shortcomings and everything that we hate about ourselves internally. We can't stop that addiction. We can't, like, all that's just anthropomorphized into a character as well. And it's like we make the devil or whatever anthropomorphized image of an evil Loki or whatever the different religion uses.
I made a video or a live stream, I don't remember, talking about why God will never ever get rid of the devil. Never.
Oh.
Because the devil serves a purpose of creating an emotional polarity.
Or representing an emotional polarity. Like, this is the thing. As soon as you have what you want, you have what you don't want. Like, if you want food, you don't want to starve. So there are these polarities that already exist there. You mentioned it in the field states. Like, these polarities already exist. You are in one state, or you don't want to be in that bad state, a negative state, and you want to move to the not negative state. Good. Yes, I desire this. I don't desire that. So as soon as you have something that you desire, you have something you don't desire. They are they are defined in opposition to one another. And like religions have known this a long time. The yin and the yang are representatives of this. Hope and fear, the carrot and the stick. We have the wheel. I think of the Hal Jordan in the comic books defines it as the fear ring and the will ring, right? Like that you will something and you fear something.
Mhm.
That's how the comic books does it. But there's always this dichotomy that is put there of I want this, I don't want that, and then they're just manifested into characters.
Did you watch that movie, Matrix, Robert?
Yes.
You know, I saw that movie. It made a lot of sense to me. I didn't like the other two movies, just the first one. But I'm seeing similarities between this green code, but instead of being green code, is plus and minus signs all over.
Yeah.
And you know, when you see a woman that you like, you're gonna see mostly plus signs on this woman and a little bit of negative signs. And you're gonna be, if you have negative, you know, field state in you, you have more negative than positive. So you're gonna be attracted to this woman. And this is the real matrix that we don't see clearly. Same with the God. The God, people close their eyes, they see plus signs around the idea of the God because he's offering eternal life. And it's offering to make you feel good. So if you're broken and have mostly matrix signs in the negative in yourself, you're gonna be attracted to this God.
Yeah.
I think that's the real matrix.
That's good. That's a good analogy. But I'll tell you another thing, like what we hear the line being towed in apologetics on the side here constantly, like God is good, God is love, God is all these things. What they're really saying is God is plus signs, or Jesus is more plus signs. It's more of a reason to go to them. Like Jesus is healing, Jesus is, and all it's doing is really making the argument. No, plus signs. There's lots of plus signs.
Yes.
You should go towards it.
Yes. You know, I have tried several times, like 3 times, to make one of these AIs to try to create me and have to explain it. Please make the silhouette of a woman and put plus signs. Man, it always mess it up horrible. I'm still working on it because I think this will really illustrate what we see under reality, what's going on. There's an energy that is invisible to us, and it's this plus, minus, or positive, negative energy, and we move through these fields in life.
Yeah, I think we're getting a bit of a conspiracy going on in the side chat with Bill Gates. This is this touted conservative side thing with Bill Gates owns 40% of the farmland. I had this conversation and did it. You should do a quick AI search if you are interested in the subject and see how much land and farm property Bill Gates actually owns, and you'll find it's not quite 2%. So things are greatly exaggerated as to his control of food market. Greatly exaggerated.
Seems to me that out of Babylon, no worries, out of Babylon, I don't know, has a little bit of victim mentality, like someone else has power and we don't. Trying to change that out of Babylon. I think by knowledge, by being honest with ourselves, we're gonna gain more power slowly but surely. And once we're gonna come to the understanding that all the problems in life are being self-created. I'm not trying to talk about woo-woo, about law of attraction, and we create our own realities. No, I'm not saying this. I'm saying that if we're way more informed about us and life and everything, we can take better decisions about everything and not give power away like we're doing in our countries, giving our power away to other people and then complain about it.
Yeah, the best estimate I can see is 0.03% of U.S. farmland. 0.03% of U.S. farmland. And while that's big for an individual, it's not even a half of 1%. So No ability to control the market in any way with that.
Out of Babylon responds, not a victim mentality, just tired of seeing people on the street, that's all. I'm telling you again why I do this. Out of Babylon, I think that the best way to fix these things is to own it, own responsibilities for these people being on the streets. This is the result of our ignorant actions. Don't blame politicians, don't blame someone outside of ourselves, because that way we will never fix these things. And also, don't try to find heroes outside of yourself, like a Jesus or some invisible God, because again, you're going to be dependent on that God in order to fix your life and fix other things, which can make you a lazy person.
It's weird because politicians also can be some sense of an anthropomorphized sentiment, right? Like that the country's dying and we need some savior for the country, right? So there's this, you put all your hopes and dreams on a character to say that this is the salvation of the nation, in the same way that you say this Jesus character is the salvation of a people. So there's this anthropomorphizing all of the things that you think will fix the country and saying this character holds all of those attributes, right? Or anthropomorphizing everything you think is destroying the country and saying this person holds all these characteristics and they're just trying to destroy the country, right? So you can kind of do the same thing in politics rather than be informed about the individual. You know, it's a low resolution point of view that you don't have to see the individual topics and understand them if you can just broadly put brushstrokes to represent the different characters.
You said that, can you say that word slowly?
Anthropomorphize.
Anthropomorphize. To anthropomorphize means to give human traits, feelings, or actions to non-human things like animals, objects, or nature. Wow.
Yeah, like we can see we're creating agency in systems that aren't there, or we're making an icon that represents an ideal, right? There's an ideal. It's like the Uncle Sam. What is Uncle Sam, the character that is Uncle Sam? Like Uncle Sam is like the backbone of America, kind of the grit of the American people and what needs to be done and the governance thereof, or however you want to imagine Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam's a fictional character. He is in some sense, however you want to anthropomorphize these ideas.
So maybe we're doing the same thing with a God.
Yeah. You're imbuing it. I think there's a term, I don't know that it's I don't think it's in the Bible. It's a theological term that was developed later that is called a theophany. And it's inside of the theology though, but its ideal is a theophany is like a projection of the God, right? Whether it's represented in an angel, like I think one text says Jacob wrestled with an angel and another says Jacob wrestled with God. And some of the theologians tried to figure out how they could, fix this. And their concept is that there's a theophany, that like the angel is a complete representation of the God character. So there's these placeholders that we have as ideas, and even idols are like placeholders of a conception. So they built idols to represent the God character. And like we always have these, I've heard somebody talking about when they go to a graveyard, they commonly talk to a gravestone. That we know that the gravestone can't listen, but many people commonly talk to the gravestone as if it's some type of representative of the person that they lost, and they may make apologies or say, things they meant to say while they were alive, but they're a stand-in. And I think all of our ideas of what's right and wrong with the earth, like the ideas that are gods, are stand-ins for those conceptions.
EP Seeker writes, whines about having to pay bills and wants to be able to just take whatever I want to. Reference to Out of Babylon's comment. Professor Hazel, pissing and moaning about it on the internet is what a child will do. Get up and change the world around you. Russell and Professor Hazel, now that is why they call you professor. TP Seeker, tax the rich. I'm not sure about that. Charles Oliver, some people want to be on the street. I'm tired of seeing people there who don't want to be. Out of Babylon writes, cannot fix a problem using the same thing that got them there. I agree. It's our fault because we accept money. A piece of paper. I don't agree with that, Out of Babylon. The problem,
I think we try to shoot for the moon, and we should probably fix small things in the front of us first. I think it's when you do a general consensus of whether money should be influencing politics in the way that it is, the vast majority of Americans will tell you no. So when you vote on things like local bills, maybe they should support that idea that money and shouldn't be able to influence our politicians, that they should be isolated from outside money.
Professor Hazel, I bet Russell, I mean, yes, shit sucks, but some things are more realistic than others. TP Seeker cannot fix problems when poor get taxed more than rich. Mod to Out of Babylon, you want salvation, become the change you wish to see in the world.
Drop that Gandhi on them, boy.
But Russell, the existence of billionaires and now a trillionaire is an embarrassment to civilization. I think that's on us.
I tend to agree.
I think that's on us. We are the ones creating these billionaires and trillionaires.
Well, you use we colloquially as a total representative, but many people in this channel haven't had anything to do with it. But yes, as a collective society, we all have to rise and fall with the tide, so to speak, of the people.
Yeah, I think that anybody that buys, including myself at Amazon, we are supporting these billionaires, trillionaires.
Yep.
Are we using AI?
Yep.
Or Charles Oliver, to Out of Babylon, money is a convenience. It's easier to get ripped off without it. Out of Babylon, I'm learning I have to remove the beam from my own eye.
Is it a beam now?
Beam.
Oh, beam. Oh, okay, beam. Gotcha.
TP Seeker to Out of Babylon. How many billions has Gates given away compared to Trump and Musk?
Oh, I'll grant you that. Gates has given away like the vast majority of his fortune. It's been given away to charities. So talk shit about him all y'all like, but y'all should probably see how much money he's given away. Granted, he shouldn't have been able to amass that much, but that's probably more us than him that he was able to. But now he's given away, I think he's given away the like 60%. We were talking about this the other day, trying to look it up to see how much he's actually given to different charities.
Charles Oliver, imagine a nation where 6 geese is minimum wage. Then you have to spend 2 hours haggling over a trade of geese to beef. Geese. Out of Babylon writes, it's not about money. They can print it at will. That means debt is manufactured. Everyone is not meant to be rich. Then what is the point? Man, one of my goals is to be a billionaire. I laugh, but I gotta have a goal. Working on it. Professor Hazel, money, currency is a representation of effort. I don't think many people would agree with that.
if you're gunning towards becoming a billionaire, I can tell you a channel like this isn't the way to go.
I totally agree.
It's just not. The way to go is more of that pop-off stuff, and doing some tent healings and giant revivals and selling some of that water that heals people. That's the way to go.
Well, I keep telling people that sometimes I'm thinking that I'm doing the wrong channel. I should call this channel God's Clears Waters, and then do the pop-off. Now I'm involved in other projects, so this is not one of them. I don't think I'm gonna be a billionaire or not even a millionaire, not even close doing this live streams. But I'm learning through this process. It's serving a purpose.
I'll be happy if my children have good careers and can take care of themselves. That's kind of my big goal in life right now, is that my children are able to become self-sufficient and healthy.
Nice. I like that.
Maybe that's low goals, but that's where I'm at right now.
You know, I say to anybody that I'm looking to be a billionaire, but that's not really the motivation. For me, it's freedom. I want to be free again.
Yeah.
I want to spend more time with my family. I want to be able to do other things. Right now, I'm a slave of my own creation.
Yeah.
I went out. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do that broke.
Yeah. Money comes from a printing press, mostly, or they digitally created in a banking institution. I mean, we could play this whole, it comes from effort all we like, but I mean, the actual monetary set comes from, it's created. It's created in a digital system, or it's printed.
Before it was coming from the earth, one was gold, then came from the trees. Now it's coming from nowhere, just digits on a screen.
Yeah.
Out of Babylon is worthless now. We are the last to find out.
I'm going to advocate for someone coming in here and chit-chatting. Somebody please join the link. I don't know if you got it posted again, but I am actually fixing to be dipping. Not gonna stay on so late, but yes, people join, come in, come talk with Javier. He doesn't bite. I've never been bitten yet.
I don't bite too hard. Thank you so much, Robert. Like always, thank you so much, man. Appreciate
it, man. Take care.
That was Robert from Skeptic Philosophy. He has a channel, very, very nice channel. I'm subscribed to his channel. I put a link on the chats for anybody that want to see a live stream they're gonna do tomorrow. So we're gonna be here for 30 more minutes at the most to finish the live stream. I'm doing live streams of 3 hours at the most. Now, no more 5-6 hours live streams. No more, especially on a Friday night. No more. So 30 more minutes and we're over with this live stream. Talking about correcting Jesus Christ. Yes, correcting Jesus Christ. Mod, it's difficult to redesign a fairer economy from within the confines of the current economy. Yes, that's why I'm suggesting a new form of government that I have made a presentation before. You can watch it on the library of videos on my channel. Go find that video. It's called A New Form of Government. Forward it to anybody that can contribute to implement this new form of government. Out of Babylon, where does money come from? From effort? Not necessarily. Just like Bert Brussels' response, often not. Because there are cases where a person, a man, work all his life, make himself a millionaire, and then his sons get the money after the persons die, and they blow it without having to work for it. So there are cases and there are cases. TP Seeker to Out of Babylon. If you want something, put effort into it. What you want. Admad, all new money is released as debt by the banking system. Ooh. Out of Babylon, effort doesn't reward. It's just be pace. I don't know. I don't know. I think you can go both ways. You can put the effort to it to make yourself, millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire. And probably you have more chances to make improvements to the world with money than without money. Out of Babylon, cheaters win in this world. I cannot agree with you. That's negative thinking, and that's victimhood thinking. TP Seeker to Out of Babylon. Think about what you just said. I think Out of Babylon seems to me that has some internal conflict. A big fight going on in there. Thank you, Robert, so much. Skeptic Philosophy. TP Seeker, I guess, to Out of Babylon. No wonder why you are whining and want to just take things. I don't know. Yesterday, Out of Babylon, I think he was kind of proposing some kind of communist government. I don't know. Free everything for everybody. I don't know. I don't know. For anybody that joined late the live stream, my correction to Jesus Christ is on the screen. He said, "No one comes to the Father except through me." And my correction is, no one comes to the Father except through me, but no one comes to me unless their feelings move them to. Which I think is absolutely accurate. Todd McNorris, Clearwaters. I really like the skeptic philosophy guy. But can we really trust what he says? I heard he used a swear word and has a potty mouth. Man, skeptic philosophy, Robert. He's like an encyclopedia, man. Very knowledgeable guy. Very humble. I really like him. Potty mouth. Oh man, Out of Babylon, would you all rather pay bills for the things you have now or get them for free? Simple question. Out of Babylon, I don't think there's anything free, my friend. Someone has to create things. Someone has to sweat for it. And then you're gonna give it for free to someone else. I want you to go grow rice and give it for free to everybody, and everybody eats for free while you are growing the rice. You're doing all the work. How's that gonna feel to you? Out of Babylon, I think this idea to have everything free for everybody, I don't know. I suspect that is a lack of knowledge about how reality works. Charles Oliver, thank you so much for being on the live stream. Appreciate it. Building project. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Charles. Out of Babylon, cheaters win. I stand on that. Probably cheaters win. Also, non-cheaters also win. Out of Babylon, I see plenty of hardworking men and women struggling. I noticed that you said hardworking. That doesn't mean smart people, knowledgeable people. Hardworking not necessarily get you to good things in life. McNorris Clearwaters, Robert needs to study the new revised Diva International version of the Bible. The Diva. I think he's very close to make his own beautiful version of the Bible. Everything is flowers, everything smells good, everything is perfect. He's gonna call it the perfect Bible Diva version. Out of Babylon, then again, where does money come from? You have the knowledge, so enlighten us, please. Money, I don't think, comes from nowhere. We are putting value to numbers on the screen. Cheaters are smart. Well, what do you call a cheater? Someone that is not working hard and found a shortcut to his own freedom. Is that what you're calling a cheater? TP Seeker. What does that have to do with acquiring necessities to out of Babylon? You still gotta pay for death. Out of Babylon, why pay bills knowing we will die? Again, why will it profit you to acquire those things knowing that you will lose your soul? Out of Babylon, I think to buy some bread, to eat some bread, you gotta buy it. In this world that is based on economics, you need money to buy bread. I don't know. I think you can get places and building special places for people that don't have any money or lose their jobs, and probably get them stuff for free temporarily, maybe 3 months or something like that, until they get up back on their feet. But not give everything free to everybody. That doesn't sound very realistic. It sounds more like a communist country. And who is going to administer the resources for everybody? Normally in communist countries, they don't want to let go. Whoever is in power don't want to let go of the control of those resources. 20 more minutes and we're done with this live stream. On this beautiful Friday night. Tonight we had a presentation at the beginning about correcting Jesus Christ. No one comes to the Father except through me is missing information, important information. Chuck McNorris to out of Babylon. Before money, it was wheat or any food and stays fresh without a fridge. Trace salt, etc. I read somewhere that salary comes from the word salt. McNorris got any bread? Out of Babylon, that makes no sense. It's paper and numbers. They have to come from somewhere. If you do not understand even what it is, other than you can spend it. Out of Babylon, Chuck, that made up. The past was more advanced. I said again, everything we think we know is a lie. I don't agree with that. Oh, look, Diva is in the house. We're talking about you, Diva, about the new Bible Diva version. Diva, hopefully you didn't get to see the presentation about me correcting Jesus Christ, because you're gonna faint, man. You're gonna like, oh no, clear waters, too much, man. Some of the scenes from the presentation I'm showing on the screen right now. Before we finish the live stream for tonight, and then we're gonna have a beautiful weekend. Mr. Chuck McNorris, clear waters out of Babylon means well. Art in right place, but thinks Bible written by AI 1,000 years ago. I know he has a good heart. I have spoken to Out of Babylon a few times on the Discord, on the live streams. He's very passionate. He's very passionate. Out of Babylon writes, so the only book you think is made up are the holy books. Oh man, many things are made up, including the holy books. Bert Brussel, did anyone notice a sudden precipitous drop in the average IQ of the chat just now? Oh, man, that's not nice. Oh, come on, man. Just cycling through some of the scenes from the presentation at the beginning. Diva Don't Play is asking Javier, read Matthew 5, 12, 13 for Chuck McNorris. What does it say? 6 Sam grows. Diva Don't Play, have a great weekend. You too. TP Seeker Bibles are collections of folklores and stories. Maybe some fantastic stories. Out of Babylon, darkness cannot comprehend the simple truth. What is the simple truth? Chuck McNorris at Diva Don't Play. If you see your fellow Israelites ox or cheap strain, do not ignore it, but be sure to take it back to its owner. Deuteronomy 22. Some of the weird things taken from the Bible. Out of Babylon, if I ask a child free or pay, they would easily take the free. Yes, but out of Babylon, you're talking to a child. A child will tell you many crazy things. TP Seeker, it's a kid. I work for my allowance out of Babylon. My first bike I worked for didn't steal it. Out of Babylon, you are God. Out of Babylon. What can we do with that piece of information? Chuck McNorris. I'm sorry, Diva don't play to Chuck McNorris. Check Matthew 5, 12, 13. Out of Babylon, we all had such instances. That was our parents teaching us their mistakes. Probably. Six Sam grows, following what a child would do. Weird. Out of Babylon, mind of a child, clear waters, all are saved. I know what you mean. Children are more transparent in the way they think, but they're also very naive about life and very mistaken about reality. So we have to take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to this topic about paying for things and things being given for free to everybody. If everything is given for free to everybody, who's gonna make the stuff? Who's gonna work for the stuff? Who's gonna build things and they're just given for free? I don't think anybody will be inspired to do anything if they're not gonna get anything. They're not gonna get anything in return. TP Seeker, John 15:22. If I had not come and spoken to them, they will not be guilty of sin. But now they have no excuse for their sin. That sounds like the God curse. Someone doesn't know about God, they go straight to heaven. Once they know about God, they have the God curse. Now they have to start jumping through hoops in order to make it to God's unconditional love. Professor Hazel writes, everything is a conspiracy when you don't know how anything works. I agree. Out of Babylon, whatever you want to do, you are God. So if I close my eyes and think about having a Lamborghini, voila, magic happens and I get the Lamborghini. I don't think it works like that. Chuck McNorris at Diva don't play. If you see your fellow Israelites donkey or ox fallen on the road, do not ignore it. Help the owner get it to its feet. Deuteronomy 22:4. Diva don't play at Chuck McNorris. Amen. Let's see. Matthew 5:12-13. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Believers are salt and light. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its flavor, how shall it be seasoned? It is then good for nothing but to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by man. If I don't play right, I appreciate all your insults against me. For Jesus Christ's sake, repent and believe the gospel. Repent. That sounds like an emotional call, Viva. Out of Babylon, you can manifest a Lamborghini if that is what your heart really desired. They have enough. I don't know, out of Babylon, I want my freedom back. Working on it. Working very hard on it. Bert Brussel Adiva, I thought we were sharing scripture. Here's another favorite of mine. As Jesus rode into Jerusalem, the donkey turned to him and said, "O Lord, will thou slap this ass?" Tang Mule 9. Out of Babylon. Out of Babylon. This place is like the construct in the Matrix where imagination is given form. I don't know, out of Babylon. I find it weird that you're talking about these things, but when I'm talking about how we construct reality, you don't say anything about that. Chuck Norris at Diva, if a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and her and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels. Deuteronomy 22:28. Context. 6 Sam grows. Matthew 5:12-13. Fifi giverish. Diva, I read the one that you always like, the new King James version. TP Seeker, didn't Jesus have kids sin and steal a worker's donkey? I'm more minutes and we're done with this live stream in this beautiful Friday night. Out of Babylon, we all manifest what is in our hearts, no exceptions. So you're manifesting hard work and little money out of Babylon. How is that working? Can you explain that to me? If I don't play Chuck McNorris. Context is they were caught in the sin of fornication. Chuck McNorris, steal 2 donkeys for the Lord. Tell the police the Lord needs them. Clear waters. TP Seeker Adiva, didn't Jesus have kids sin and steal a worker's donkey? Chuck Norris at Diva Don't Play. I know full what it says in the context of the Diva New Revised Version of the Bible, but the scribes got that wrong. Perfect. For those of you that joined late the live stream, there's a presentation at the beginning in case you want to see it about correcting Jesus Christ, about no one comes to the Father except through me, which I think he omitted important information that we added. PP Seeker is asking Diva, who was the naked boy caught with Jesus at a well? What? Diva Don't Play at TP Seeker. They clearly borrowed the donkey. Try reading comprehension instead of making up lies like your father, the devil. TP Seeker still wondering why you chose Diva Don't Play being a guy. Thank you so much for everybody that have subscribed to the channel. I'm humbled. Thank you so much. I remember when I started doing videos and live streams with 0 viewers for months. And now we're breaking all the records. 12 people on the live streams. It's all good. I enjoy it. And I put these messages out, which hopefully they make this world a better place. Four more minutes and we're done with this live stream for tonight. One thing that I noticed tonight in particular, that believers were extremely quiet tonight. I don't know, probably because the correction makes a lot of sense. Maybe the correction to Jesus Christ is accurate. Come on, guys. Some of these messages are just silliness, man. Diva, I'm gonna look at a little bit of that video that you sent me. I like to at least watch a little bit. If it's of my interest, I continue watching. Some people are getting aggressive with the preacher. I don't appreciate too much street preachers, Diva. I think it's kind of offensive in my point of view. Oh no, it's the great Tony Montana, man. Hold on. Let me remove the block. Hey Tony, how you been, man?
How's it going?
Good, everything good, man. How you been? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. I see you. I see your slide today. It says correcting Jesus.
Yes. Did you watch the
And
presentation?
what do you? Oh, yeah, I missed the presentation. So, I'm very, very wondering
Unsatisfied with the
how.
title.
Not definitely not. How did you come up? How did you come up with that title?
Yeah, let me, I don't know if you're watching right now, but let me jump to the scene where the correction is made. So in the case of John 14:6, it says, no one comes to the Father except through me, period. My correction to that verse, Bible verse is, no one comes to the Father except through me, but no one comes to me unless their feelings move them to.
Unless their feelings what?
Move them
Move them.
to. Yeah, so in my view, the proper order is the person has to feel it, then Jesus, then the Father.
Well, you're you're going through the motion of talking about feelings again. Here you go with feelings. You're going back to feelings.
I'm talking about humans. You cannot
So
take
how
the believing and the feelings out of the human. You cannot get rid of it.
so how are you correcting them?
Because I think that Jesus is omitting important information for any believer.
So now you're actually acknowledging there is a Jesus.
In the case there's a Jesus, I'm correcting this wording. I'm doing a favor here for believers.
No, so you're admitting there is a Jesus. There is an existence of Jesus.
I don't know if you missed
Yeah.
the live stream from yesterday. Yesterday I talked about Chulum and Chulum only.
Well, there is no Chulum.
How do you know?
There
Can you
is no
prove it?
Chulum. We've been through this. We've been through this many, many times, my friend.
Can you prove
And
that
there,
Chulum is not real? No, you can't.
yes, I can.
How?
You're the only one that follows him.
I don't
You're the
follow
only
Chulum.
one that claims there's a Chulum.
I don't follow Chulum.
Then you say there's no way to even Chulum won't even reveal yourself to him, nobody. So how you're contradicting yourself right there with Chulum? You know there is no such thing as a Chulum.
I don't
You're
follow
making
Chulum.
that up. You're making that up.
I have no way of proving to anybody that Chulum doesn't exist.
But you weren't. But you were a believer at one point, correct?
Yes.
Believer of the God of the Bible, correct?
Yes, for many years.
For many years.
Yeah.
And you know what? When did you hear about Chulum?
Man, I made several videos talking about this and explaining and giving details. The latest video I made about Chulum was yesterday. You should go watch it. People asking me questions about Chulum.
People did a lot of things, but the one thing you have to remember is, man, once you blaspheme that Holy Spirit, I know what you're on now. I understand what you're on now. But you might need to repent and ask for forgiveness.
Remember, Tony, I don't play the salvation game.
Pride, or do you have too much pride?
No, I have too much honesty and transparency.
How much more transparency do you need to understand that there is a God? That
No,
there's a war going, that
no,
there's
no,
a
no,
war
no.
going on.
You,
First darkness. You
Tony,
have purpose?
you
That you
learn,
have.
you
Do you think you have?
learn. Hold on. You learn these things from someone else. You learn
No.
to say these things from someone else. You have never seen a God. You have
What?
never smelled a God.
I got experience with my God. I've had a relationship, and I've had experience the spiritual supernatural. I'm serious, man. I will be dead already. I will be dead already. My testimony, it actually speaks volume. But you can't force people to believe anything. You have free will. You have free will. And I don't know how much more does God need to do to prove to people that he actually exists? What do you want him to do? What will actually convince you that there is a God?
The problem, Tony, is that your personal experience is not good for anyone. Nobody else.
Well, it is called a testimony. So if you think that I'm the only one that follows the God of the Bible, or is this something that people around the world know about?
Secondhand testimonies is not good way to prove a God to anybody.
Testimonies. I said, if I'm tripping, am I the only one out of the people, the rest of the believers around the world that believe and that have other testimonies too? You think this is just a coincidence that people are having these type of experiences?
If you have the time, we talk about this in this live stream. I was talking to Robert from Skeptic Philosophy, taking this process apart so people can understand it, how people end up believing in a God through a human process.
You're not admitting that that you know what I mean, that I can't be that crazy enough to believe in the Most High and have an experience, but there's other people out there, thousands of other people that also can testimony and say that it's real. But you're the only one that thinks Chulum is real. You're the only one that has ever brought up Chulum.
Chulum probably is not real. I don't know. I have no way of proving it.
But you still act like he is real.
To me, I mean, to be honest with you, to me, Chulum sounds more like a real God than the God of the Bible, because Chulum doesn't interfere with humanity.
Do you have to go disrespectful? That's not cool.
What do you mean disrespectful? Why did I say what that was disrespectful? That to me, Chulum sounds more like a perfect God than the God of the Bible. That shouldn't be disrespectful, because that's my opinion.
God, there's only one God, and that's the God of the Bible, the one creator of the heaven and earth. That's it. There is no other God. But before I go on to say something else, I just want to say a few things before, unless you want to reply back to that. Yeah. For one, do you understand that there is an actual spiritual war going on, and Earth is literally? And Earth is an actual battlefield. Do you think you have a mission or a calling or a purpose or a soul? Do you think you have these things that are running through your conscience and your body, and that you just haven't awoken up yet to understand what is actually transpiring?
No, I don't agree with this view. I don't see life through the eyes of someone that believes in spirits and demons and in spiritual attacks. No, I don't see life this way.
You never said anything about that, but do you think that your life is just, you were just born to come down, to come here and eat, grow up, shit, sleep, and die? That's it.
No, I'm trying to
That's all
understand
you.
what I came to here to do. I don't explain everything via an invisible God. I don't understand. I don't know what I came to do here. I don't know if I came down from anywhere.
Do you think that you are worth having a purpose in life, or do you think that you're just here to just eat a bunch of food and experience it and then die? That's all you're.
My purpose in life right now is try to give the best life I can give to my children, and that's what motivates me every day. That's my goal. I do have a meaning in my life, which is my family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that you cannot understand that. I mean, I can accept that, you know. I don't see any value in any invisible God right now, not even Chulum.
There is no such thing as a chulum.
I don't know. I have no way of proving that to anyone.
There is no such thing as a chulum. But I know one thing, that some of us are called to actually be a light and be something better to the community and the people that and the stuff around us. But if you cannot see that, if you can't decipher what darkness versus light, good versus evil, God versus Satan and his army, if you can't understand that and it's clear as day, the agendas and the things that happens is people blaspheme the Holy Spirit, and then you know what, they start having too much pride, and then next thing you know, they start doing the devil's will unknowingly. They start doing what the devil they start doing the devil's job, and they don't know that the devil is already using them. And it's
Yeah,
sad that
Tony,
happens.
I don't believe in the devil. I think devil is really a human ignorance. That's what the devil is. When we are ignorant about our surroundings and how we operate as human beings, then we create our own hells. There's nothing you can prove to anybody that there's a devil. You just learn to say these things from somewhere else. I don't know. Where did you learn? What was the first time you heard the word devil? Where you got this word from?
Had enough experience. You haven't been out there in the actual real world. You haven't been out there that deep to understand that there's these things, or there's these type of entities and stuff like that in the spiritual realm, in the physical realm, that are around us. You think that this war is just a game?
Can you
But
demonstrate this
obviously,
to anybody, Tony, that there's a spiritual war going on? Can you demonstrate to anyone?
everywhere you don't see, you don't. It's
Nope.
come on, man.
No,
At
I
one
don't see.
time I was, at one time I was blind to it too. I
Mm.
was very blind to it. I'm not gonna admit that. I was blind. I was so blind. I was blind, man. And it was right in front of me. It was right in front of me, man. And you know what? All I could do is understand and keep moving forward and keep praying and keep believing in that my ancestors and my God and the people that love me and want to see me do better. I just got to keep moving that way, man. I got to keep chasing and moving towards the light, bro.
How you gonna be better?
But that's just, I mean, hey, bro, even if whatever, we're sinners.
How you gonna be better?
Are you a sinner?
No, how you gonna be better? How you gonna win this spiritual war?
Are you a sinner? By doing what I'm called to do and keep moving forward and try to be the best man towards Christ and try to be as good as I can. Keep moving forward. Don't give in to the devil's tricks. No matter how much it is, no matter how much they try to offer me, no matter whatever they try to do, I'm not giving in to that shit. I refuse to denounce and say that there is no God, that there is no Jesus. I refuse that to the end. I'd rather, you know, something else. I'd rather them just take me out.
You know, I respect the way you want to
never
do this way in your life. I mean, I want to do these changes in life in a different way. Probably having people have better conversations about reality, about humanity, about understanding about how we operate as human beings, having some knowledge so we can take better decisions in life and not to rely on invisible God about decisions that have to do with us human beings.
Have you ever looked up spiritual warfare?
I've never seen spiritual warfare. No, I've never seen it. No.
Researched it.
When I was in church, I always heard about the enemy and the war, but once I stopped believing in God, all the enemies disappeared.
What enemies?
Yeah, the enemies, the demons, the devil, all these spiritual demons that are attacking us, they all disappear once I stop believing in God.
So you're admitting that they were them, that they fled, that's you're saying, right?
No,
After you
it
stopped
was all in my mind.
Oh, you can't even admit that you're a sinner. You won't even admit that you're a sinner.
I'm not a sinner. I don't play the salvation game. I don't do that anymore. It's not good for me. It's not good for anybody. Seeing life through the eyes of some spiritual entity that is out there is not of value for anybody in this life. I don't think so.
Have you ever committed a sin?
No, never in my life.
You won't even admit that you're a sinner.
No.
That you committed a sin.
Nope. If I don't believe in the God of the Bible, why would I make a sin?
You have to work for yourself, and you have to be honest. You have to be honest with yourself. At least say that you have sinned before. And you can't even, as a man, say that you sinned before.
Tony, I don't believe in the God of the Bible. I don't believe the God of the Bible is real. So why would I call myself sinner if that doesn't apply to me? I'm not involved in this doctrine.
Well, you know what? One thing is guaranteed. There will be a day where your heart stops, where you die, where you get unalived, and you're gonna pass away one day, and you will have to face judgment, and you will know then if it's real or not. But much love and respect, and I'm going after that. You know, you can't even admit to yourself that you committed a sin before. So you know that just goes to show that anybody that's listening right now, what type of, you know what I mean?
Person is Stinky Waters. That he doesn't like to play the salvation game.
Hey, listen, I have nothing against you, Clearwater. We always keep things respectable. It's just that you won't even be truthful with self. And I don't know what type of relationship you've had with the Most High and whatever that. And I know that you blasphemed the Holy Spirit before, so I'm pretty sure you're on a campaign to just get people to, you know what I mean?
Get people to ask questions, to have conversations, and to have a better understanding about humanity and how it works. I understand that believers in God don't like to have those conversations because it points out away from the Bible, and people doesn't like that. People that believe in God doesn't like that. Don't like people asking questions and having conversations outside of the Bible. That's understandable. I respect that.
The thing is, you were a believer at one time, but you know what? You were battle tested, and you didn't have enough faith, or you didn't have enough, you know what I mean, to stay with what you believe in. And it's okay to have questions, but you know what? If you lost faith and then you blaspheme the Holy Spirit, you're probably on a crash out mission just to say, you know what I mean, and try to get other people to think otherwise and mix up the theory and the belief system and trying to use it against people. Come on, bro. You know that Jesus is a savior. He's not pushing for hate, or he's not pushing for destruction or any type of to destroy you. He's trying to save you, if anything. But it's okay. You know what I mean? It's all right. You got free will to believe and do as you please and what you want, and that's what God does. You know what I mean? He lets people cut their own throat. But you know what I mean? It is what it is. And I'm going after this, man.
All right, thank you, Tony, man. Nice talking to you, man. Thank you so much. That was the great Tony Montana. He used to call a lot. Actually, a few live streams back, I was wondering where he was. I mean, he used to call a lot at the beginning. He's not very happy with what I'm doing, trying to have conversations and try to have different views about how we look at gods and how we end up believing in gods. But I do respect him. I do respect that he, everything that he believes, I don't believe. And he feels uncomfortable about that. Who's talking about blocking someone? Come on. What's going on in the chat? Guys, I'm out of here. I didn't want to interrupt Tony. It's been a while since I didn't talk to him. So I didn't want to be rude and cut him off. So I'm out of here. Guys, have a great Friday night and an awesome weekend. See you on Monday night with another interesting topic about humanity. Diva, I know Tony wants me to get back in the game. I'm not willing to go back to playing games with my life. I prefer to stay under honesty and transparency, and to expand my knowledge and understanding about life, and not just accept what other people are telling me through a book, how to live my life, how to think, and how to act. So if you're interested in having conversations and more understanding about humanity and life, I'll see you again on Monday night. And thank you for everybody that have subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. See you again on Monday.